Hello and welcome to Inside Sports. I'm your host, Todd Blackstock. On today's show, we'll be discussing how Washington University can have so much success in athletics while being one of the most prominent academic institutions in the world. And we'll introduce you to the new athletic director. And did you know the St. Louis Spirits are back? That's right, the ABA, the American Basketball Association, is back in the STL, and we're here to give you the inside scoop with one of the team's standout players, along with managing director Damon. You don't want to miss it, as we have this and much more coming up next on Inside Sports. And joining us in the studio now from Washington University here in St. Louis is the Bears' new athletic director, Anthony Azama. Welcome to the show, Anthony. Great to have you with us.
I'm excited to be here.
You know, I'm looking back at your career, and you were quite a football player back in the day. In your college days, you played in the SEC, and in 1998, you were actually named to the SEC, I guess, All-American Scholar Team, amongst other things. And that must have been pretty important to, realize at that time in your life that, football is actually a way to get an education. You could describe your career at Vanderbilt.
No, it was great, a great experience, exposed me to not just Vanderbilt academically, but Nashville as well. In addition to it, it really taught me how to compete, not just in the classroom, not just on the field, but compete toward reaching your full potential.
Your full potential. And while at Vanderbilt playing for the Commodores, you had a pretty good game against one of the all-time greatest quarterbacks in the history of college football at Tennessee, and then in the pros as well. You want to talk about that game against Tennessee?
I tell you what, Tennessee is always our rival, so to speak. To be able to have a chance to play well against Peyton Manning is really neat. In addition to having a game-saving tackle against Northern Illinois, some things you just never forget, even though it's almost 20 years ago.
So you're too humble there. I mean, it must have been tremendous. I mean, here you are in front of 50 or 80,000 fans, and you get a big pick against Peyton Manning. And did you know at that time how good Peyton was? Because he was a pretty darn good quarterback. I like the fact that he stayed his senior year.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. A lot of people, they take the money and run, but his family obviously had money. Was Peyton that high up at the time? Did you know he was going to be special?
To be honest with you, to go through that process and again having that interception when both of us were freshmen, and to see how he really mastered the cerebral part of the game. I mean, when he checked, we checked. When he tried to put himself in a better position, we put ourselves in a better position. He's probably one of the most smartest football players I've ever competed against.
Sure. And can you discuss perhaps your career after Vanderbilt? You're seeking, what's next in life. Where did that take you right after college? What were the first things?
Actually, the first job I had was at Florida Citrus Sports. And the first property I was over was a college all-star game, which helped raise money for the Bona County Fund to find a cure for spinal cord paralysis. It was a college all-star game. We had a chance to have coaches like Chuck Noll, Linda Infante, those coaches involved. We recruited seniors from all over the country. So as a former football player, having a chance to do that, to work with the NFL, Nike, ESPN, that property ran for 8 years. But also we did a college bowl game, SEC versus Big Ten, Capital One Bowl, first pick outside of BCS. It gave me a chance to really understand the business of sports and how that, when it's done right, really highlights student athletes' talent.
And after that, you went on and did some more things. You actually went back and got your master's back in 2015. How important was that to get that next educational level under your belt?
Yeah, if you're going to work in this business, you never stop learning. Never stop getting engaged, not only with young people, but also with those who had come before us, and really understanding the business and really taking a deep dive and really understanding how to utilize assets, how to put yourself in a position to reach goals, et cetera, not only as an individual, but also as an organization. And really understanding the business of athletics is very important. Especially today when you only have so many resources. What do you apply those resources so young people reach their full potential and coaches feel like they have the resources to reach their goals as well?
Now, did that coincide with your tenure at Columbia University in New York? Was that right about the time that you got your master's, or were you at Columbia before that?
I got my master's during my time at Miami of Ohio.
Okay.
I think it set me up to really prepare me for taking that next step of being the number 2 at Columbia. The beauty of being in the Ivy League is they have a D3 philosophy. They just get to compete at the D1 level. And being in New York, will some of these strategies work in the Big Apple, and having that opportunity to really kind of achieve some things that Columbia, as far as basketball, and now you see with football, they hadn't done before. It's really neat to go through that process and really convert the mindset of not it is what it is, what do we want it to become? And really start looking at getting the resources to be able to move in that direction.
And from what I understand, you did a tremendous job at Columbia University as far as in marketing, imaging, and things like that, advertising, and ticket sales. I mean, they all go hand in hand.
Yeah.
With ticket sales, advertising, marketing, can you describe some of the things and your priorities at Columbia University in those aspects?
Yeah, it's great. I'm glad you brought that up. It's about making sure you recognize the brand and really having a strong brand narrative. And as you position that, how you position that over the mediums, whether it's the website, whether it's game day, what feeling do you want people to have when they come out to your games, what experience you want them to have, as well as how does that bleed and permeate itself when you go out and recruit. I mean, I think during that time when I got there, they was too busy chasing Harvard, Princeton, Yale, rather than understanding what they had and being in New York, being at the institution like Columbia. We really kind of honed in on that, and we really did the heavy lifting in promoting this new position called Only Here. And not only these experiences in athletics, experiences in the city, but we felt like we were at the center of whether you wanted to major in business, center of finance, center of fashion, and we really started focusing on what makes Columbia unique and really attract student athletes that were really interested in that versus trying to chase and be somebody else.
So Washington University's athletic director, the position becomes open, they've got their search, you go through the process. March of 2017, I believe you were announced as the new AD, and then July 1st, you took over duties.
Right.
I mean, here's an institution with 22 Division III national championships, 1,256 academic All-Americans from the research I have.
Yeah.
So you're coming into a situation that's pretty good.
Yeah.
What's your first cause? I mean, how do you approach when you take over a position with such a highly successful institution?
Well, I think first you got to get to know the staff, and we have talented people. And going through that process of getting to know the staff, you find out that they're not okay with being good; they want to be great. And so taking that next step will be the hardest step, right? But it's not just the athletic director that's doing it; it's having a talented staff. We got talented people in communications. Chris and Kevin do a great job. We got talented coaches who really love being at WashU and what we're trying to build. We really, and some people try to describe it as you guys are the Stanford of Division III. No, we're WashU, and really kind of owning who we are, what we're about. The thing that really attracted me, though, is not just the great people and the tradition like what you talked about, but more importantly, I think it really came down to the fact of this belief that you can be academically gifted and athletically talented, and those things aren't mutually exclusive. You can do it all and have it all here. And that's pretty unique when I can say you can get a world-class degree in one hand, championship jury in the other, and be prepared for grad school or a career. I can go on the road and recruit against anybody with that.
Oh, it's amazing. It's just amazing how WashU, with its high academic standards, they still put out great sports teams, winning all the championships. I mean, recently you had one of the national players of the year, Lizzie Krisk. Maybe you want to give her a plug.
Yeah, she unbelievable and epitomizes the type of young people that we recruit there. Not just what she did athletically, but she was a biomedical engineer with a 3.9 GPA. I mean, those type of competitive young people who want to compete in the classroom, compete in the sport that they love, and also develop as a person.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we don't build widgets. Our job is to help young people, inspire young people to reach their full potential. So what we talk a lot about is 4 for 40. So within those 4 years, we want to give you every tool and every means to be successful so you can be successful for the next 40 years of your life.
So you got 10 women's volleyball championships, 5 women championships under Nancy Faye before she came in, or before you came in, and now you've got a new women's coach, Randy Henderson. You guys are kind of coming in at the same time, and I'm sure you're developing a nice relationship with her as a new person to the staff, and then all the veteran coaches and people and individuals that have been around for a while.
The beauty of it is the culture is all about family. Not only with our student athletes, but with our coaches, and they've embraced Randy as one of our own. It's interesting when you watch them practice and you see them play. The competitive spirit is still there. And when we talk about winning championships, national championships, we say and counting, because we want young people to know what they get a chance to be involved in, be a part of, as well as our coaches, the standard of excellence that we hold ourselves to each and every day.
Everybody wants to put their stamp on a program. I really liked your approach. I spoke with you on a radio show this summer after you were named athletic director, and you were kind of like in a way, you kind of wanted to kick back for a while. You just didn't want to jump in here and I'm the boss now and take over. Explain your approach. It seems like it's working for you.
Yeah, well, you come in with a consultant mindset. I mean, you really want to understand the strategy, the structure, the staff, their skills, and really try to go on a listening tour. And that tour never stops. I mean, it's some people you hear, they say, well, 30 days, 90 days, 60 days, or what have you. But it's a part of it, because it's not just me. It's about all of us trying to go in that direction. My goal and my job at the end of the day is make sure people have resources to be their very best. Not just student athletes, not just coaches, but staff. And that's what I'm focused on, to be honest with you. And it's a great place to work. I mean, I don't know why you would assume that the grass could be greener. You get good kids, they want to compete, they want to win, they work hard, and they get good grades. I don't know what more you could want in working in college athletics.
And you've got an international student base. The campus is expanding. It's taken over the Forest Park, Skinker area. It's just quite a statement area in St. Louis, right across from Forest Park. So it's growing. So what are your thoughts about St. Louis so far in your brief time here in our city?
That's one of the things we want to also incorporate in our brand message, because I got to be honest with you, when I first moved here, I did a lot of Uber and Lyft, and got a chance to really get to know the people in the city. The people in the city really didn't know who I was, so it was great unfiltered feedback. 2 things that I initially take away in my first 5 months. 1, it's all about relationships, and that matters here, right? 2, community. I mean, people really go out of their way to speak, really go out of their way to be helpful, and we have to use that in our recruiting, because not only do we compete nationally, we recruit globally. The city is just the right size where kids can get really good internships, but it's a welcoming environment. And it's a good change up for me and my wife coming from New York City. And
coming from New York City, one of the biggest cities in the world, you probably saw a lot of news reports and things on your way into St. Louis. Before we let you go, how do you feel now about St. Louis after having a chance to live here for 6 months?
I got to be honest with you, I think CNN did a disservice to this city. I mean, the way it presented itself during those turbulent times, I got to be honest with you, I came in here initially with that baggage. And during my first 3 weeks, I went to Ferguson because I wanted to see it for myself. And I felt embarrassed that I brought that baggage into the situation. I'm very comfortable saying that, now, although it's embarrassing to say that, but the reality of it is this is a great city. My mom came and she was here for a week and she thought it was, fantastic. I know she's glad I'm here versus being in New York. My wife loves it. I mean, we feel like we're a part of a community. And not only did we just inherit 550 kids, but we also inherited a really great city.
Anthony, thank you so much for joining us on Inside Sports. We really appreciate it, and Chris Mitchell's efforts to bring you here today as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're going to take a quick break now, but stick around. In our next segment, we're going to discuss the return of the St. Louis Spirits and the ABA to St. Louis.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes twice a day. they have the time.
Experience St. Louis!
Hi, I'm Ozzie Smith, and you're watching Inside Sports on STL TV.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. On June 13, 2017, co-founder of the American Basketball Association, Joe Newman, announced that St. Louis would receive an expansion team to join the ABA. And joining us in studio now is the managing director of the Spirits, Damon and one of the team's top players, Jermaine Turner. Gentlemen, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us. It's a
Gosh.
pleasure to be here.
It's amazing, you know, you think of the old St. Louis Spirits, they had about a 3-year run here, but it was an amazing run. I mean, there's guys like Moses Malone, Marvin Barnes, Caldwell Jones. I mean, the ABA had guys like Rick Barry, just tremendous players in that league. And now you're bringing it back. Can you tell us a little bit about the expansion process?
Well, you know, it was exciting when we talked to Joe, and he was so excited as a league to have a team back in St. Louis. And he worked with us, and we just wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for him and the history of what he brought back with the ABA coming back to St. Louis.
I mean, were there dinners? Were there events? Did you have to apply? Did they recruit you? Tell us about the process.
It was a little 50-50.
Yeah.
We did have to go and present our case and kind of present ourselves and show that we were worthy of having such a historic franchise. We got to go to the league meeting over in Indianapolis and sit down and talk to some of the other owners, and they gave me the grilling treatment and make sure that you're not going to mess up the brand, you know, protect the shield at all times. But it's been a great process and a great experience for us.
Now, it's one of the biggest basketball organizations in at least the United States.
Absolutely. It's actually the biggest pro sports league, period.
Period.
We have over 100 teams nationwide, and we're actually expanding internationally to Australia, Brazil. There's a program starting in Asia right now. So there's a lot of exciting things going on for us, and it creates so many opportunities for our players across the world.
And one of the things you have to do is put together a roster, and you know it's nice to get some St. Louis blood in the mix. And we've got Jermaine Turner here. Jermaine wears number 22.
Yes, sir.
All right, number 22 for the Spirits. And you know what's your feelings about playing for the Spirits right now, and how did it all come about?
It came about, a long time ago, and actually it feels great to actually play for my hometown team, and I'm very humbled by it, which makes it a great feeling also, not just playing for the St. Louis Spirit, but giving back to the community as well for the St. Louis Spirit.
So that's one of the things that the Spirits is going to do, is give back to the community. Now, you played a little hoops here in the St. Louis area. Can you give us a little background on your experience in basketball before making it to the Spirits?
Yes, sir. I played at Vashon High School in 2004, junior varsity, and I also played at Roosevelt in 2006, varsity as well, and I graduated in 2006 as well.
Okay, fantastic. So you're putting together a roster now. I guess St. Louis is as good a place as any to find some basketball talent with the rich history of greatness.
Right.
The Larry Hugheses and the Jahidi Whites and all these great players, Bradley Beal, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
So did your search start right here?
Absolutely. It started here, and if I had my way, we would have finished here. We've got so much great talent in the St. Louis area, and it was our goal to make sure that we expose the world to what we have right here. But God bless me a little bit. We've got some overseas help, and we've got some out-of-state help. One of our leading scorers, Devin Thornton, is from Memphis, Tennessee, and our starting center is from Lagos, Nigeria. So I couldn't have figured that part out. God had to give me a little help on that. But it has definitely been working together for our good.
And another St. Louis favorite, Dwayne Pulk, is on your roster. Can you talk a little bit about Dwayne? Because he was a pretty well-known high school player and then a college player here in town as well.
Yeah, well, Polk has been priceless to us. He tells me everything that I don't know, and I tell him that he doesn't know what he's telling me. But he's really been a great counselor to me, been a great basketball IQ guy to help us to shape this team and train these young guys that are coming along. He's been priceless for them.
So Jermaine, how about you? Who are your buddies on the team? You know, is there a couple of guys you really jive with, or do you guys all go out in unison as a team, or do you kind of come together for business and then on your way?
We all come together as a team. You know, it's always a great chemistry when you all build together. You know, it's a camaraderie with it. So I have a few guys like Dwayne Pulk, Ryan Hill, Cameron Jackson. They're all great players and great guys to be around. Even Coach Cannon, he's a great inspiration to be around, and it's very humbling.
Are you the head coach as well?
No, I'm not that smart.
He's very smart.
Dave Strode is our head coach, and we have some shared history. We played and coached football together, and but he was actually a basketball guy that I converted because he was real big. And so he's been great for us. And Curtis Muse, who is also a Vashon guy, who has come along, and they give us all the basketball stuff that we need.
Nice. So this isn't your first adventure into into sports marketing and owning a team. Can you discuss with us a little bit about your if it's a semi-pro or your football team that you have here in the Midwest?
Well, I got some great teachers. I started coaching in semi-pro football with the St. Louis Bulldogs, and Chief Moore took me under his wing and told me that I didn't know anything, and he's still telling me that I don't know anything. But we got a chance to work up through the ranks, and now we're co-owners with the Midwest Chargers, which has been a 3-time championship team in semi-pro football.
Nice.
They're doing great things in the St. Louis area and across the country. And this was just a great experience to teach me and grow me up. And I think they prepared me for basketball.
Now you play your games at Parkway West, huh?
Yeah, we did. We played out there, and I heard they had some great players that came through there some years ago.
I actually played football at Parkway West with Keith Gabbard. That was kind of funny you mentioned that. Lots of great times. Then you went down and played football at Southeast Missouri State University. That's my alma mater too.
I did.
We got something going on here.
We've been trailing each other.
Yes.
That's what it is. I had a great career at Southeast and a great experience there. I was telling you that we played with the Earthquake, Kelvin Anderson, and we just celebrated him being inducted into the CFL Hall of Fame. And so that's great, and we're proud of him. And I'm just glad to be a part of that history as well.
So are you going to stay in the football and the basketball? You're going to keep them both?
No, they work me too hard.
So you're going to slide into basketball
Yeah,
now?
I think I'm going to be managing what's going on with the basketball. I'll still stick my toe in with football when I can, just because I love the game. But I'm enjoying what we're doing with these guys.
You know, I look at the St. Louis Surge, and I see what Kalia Kayer's done with the women's basketball, and I see their marketing efforts and how they've gone out in the community and gone into classrooms and done things. What do you guys plan on doing to engage St. Louis? Because you've already got the name and you've got the ABA behind you.
Well, we're actually doing some great things already. We've got some outstanding community partners that we're working with. The St. Louis Rolling Rams, which is a wheelchair team, has come out. We're working with the Breakfast Club and the Cancer Caring Support Community, working on an upcoming great event, which is going to be a cancer rally for all cancer survivors. And we're doing great things, I think, so far. And we're definitely learning, too.
Very nice. And Jermaine, you know, a neat thing about you is that this is the City of St. Louis Communications Division.
Yes, sir.
And you also, you know, in your other job, you know, you work with the City of St. Louis as well. I mean, you're probably not going to make $1 million playing in the ABA right now, but it's definitely an opportunity to send you on down the road. But tell us about your work here in the City of St. Louis and what you do for us.
I work in the Division of Corrections at the Justice Center. I've been there for 2 years. Also, I work there as a clerk, actually, working in the mail room, sorting out the mail, just making sure that everything is acceptable when it goes up, when we give it to the inmates. And it's pretty easy, and it's very fun just to be one of the youngest there, but also to bring positive energy to everybody each and every single day, you know, from Monday through Friday.
You know, Damon, what do you think of a guy like Jermaine Turner, a guy with the high character? You know, I know you want to get good players, but it's got to be important to have high character guys as well.
Well, we have a great group of guys, and I think that's one of the things I've been the most blessed with. To see these guys hang out and work together and play together. You'd think they'd been together for 5 or 10 years, not just for a few months. And I think that has a lot to do with the character of the guys that we have top to bottom. I'll take the second and third part of my roster and compete with anybody on or off the court.
Let's go back to the Spirits, the Spirits #1. That's where Bob Costas got his start.
Right.
You know, out of out of New York, Syracuse. He came in here and he got famous doing those games. And the Spirits, it's actually a funny story how I think it was the Kentucky Colonels and the Spirits, they didn't make it when the NBA and the ABA merged.
Right.
They were left out. But the Spirits cashed in, their owners, didn't they? Pretty heavily.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Colonel's lawyer really should have got fined or something because the Spirits lawyer got a better deal. They ended up getting a blockbuster deal to buy out, and I just want the NBA to know that we're still available. If they want to make a deal like that with us, we'll work something out with them.
I think the Colonels got like $2.2 million to get out.
Yeah.
And the Spirits got, or they got $3 million to get out, and the Spirits got like 2 point something, but then they got a cut of the expansion team's TV revenue.
A seventh of the NBA TV revenue, which is apparently a lot of money. And then at the end of the deal, they bought him out for like $400 or $500 million.
Yeah.
And so he retired pretty good.
They did pretty well for themselves, didn't they?
Yes.
We've got a couple of huge home games coming up. Can you tell us about the January schedule for the St. Louis Spirits, where you'll be playing your games? And I know you've got some.
Biggest event of the year so far is going to be January the 6th at SIU. And that's going to be our cancer awareness rally. We're going to be celebrating people that are surviving all forms of cancer, all experiences. We're working with all of the cancer organizations throughout the area to bring awareness to this disease that has affected almost all of our families. And just to celebrate them and tell them, no, we're behind them, and hopefully bring some awareness and support to what they're doing as an organization. All of the organizations that are going to be participating. We're definitely looking for everyone to be out and fill up that stadium, and it's going to be exciting for all of us.
It's January 6th where?
January 6th at SIU Edwardsville.
SIU Edwardsville.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're excited to be there. It's great. They've been great hosts for us and opening up the doors and rolling out the red carpet for us to come in. And I think that's going to be a great experience for us.
And if someone wants to go to this event at SIU Edwardsville and see, who are you playing that night?
We're going to play against the St. Joseph Shield, our cross-state rivals. They're also a young team, and we're excited. We hope to establish a little dominance in Missouri and show that we're the leaders, the adults in the room, but it's going to be fun. Roger Nichols is the owner there. He's a great guy, and we're excited to have them come.
Before we let you go, where will we be playing your home games? And if someone wants information on getting tickets or season tickets, what should we do?
You should follow us all the time at Basketball Spirit STL. You can remember that. BasketballSpiritSTL.net. And then we're going to be at different venues across the area. On purpose, we want to come to your neighborhood and have a chance for you to visit and meet our guys and shake hands and be very tangible in our community.
Well, thanks, Jermaine. Any final thoughts about looking forward to 2018?
I just can't wait to just continue to build with my teammates, the chemistry, and having fun with the coach right here, and just having fun.
Well, Jermaine, thank you very much. Damon, thank you very much for joining us here at Inside Sports, and good luck.
Thanks a lot.
I can't wait. We need to, get together, and maybe we can, try to come up with something cool to get you guys some great coverage. Because everybody's going to be jumping on board here before you know it.
All right, we want to have you out there up front.
All right, we want to be in the beginning.
There you go. Glad to have you here. We really appreciate it.
We appreciate you guys. Well, that's our show for today. We'd especially like to thank our studio guests, along with the outstanding sports information director from Washington University, Chris Mitchell. Thanks for watching Inside Sports. We'll see you next time.
Hi, this is Damon Cannon, Managing Director of your St. Louis Spirits basketball team. Keep watching Inside Sports on STL TV.